Are we live now?
Yes, we are.
Cool. Why are you in the middle and I'm at the sides? Our camera guy sucks. $5 says the first viewer is going to be my wife. She told me she's going to watch us and laugh. I need my knife. Working knife. Just start playing with yourself. People will come watch, hopefully, eventually. Again, they can watch this later.
One viewer.
Yay! Hi, wife. Guessing it's my wife.
Yeah, probably. It's not my wife.
What wife? We don't have a wife anymore. You're a free man, so to speak. Oh, 2 viewers. We're almost at new record. 3. So one is Svein, one is the crew up there, and the last one's my wife. Say hi, guys. If you're
hello,
not one of the Tabletop Battle crew or my wife. We decided to just talk other nonsense as usual, and then we're going to have some actual cool stuff. Well, depending on who you ask, but some actual discussion, or what do we call it? Information later on. I'm going to do a top 5 something list.
Damon's going to tell us his top 5 favorite games
of all time. And Lars is, well, he got this thrown in his face, so he's going to contemplate what his 5 favorite games are. And then we're just going to keep doing that every week in a small segment with top 5 games, top worst games, best units in several games, etc. Worst wives, yours win.
That depends on who you are.
If you're you.
Yeah.
Too soon?
No, not at all.
Cool.
Not from me, at least.
Oh, we lost a guy.
Lost a guy.
Yeah, probably Svein.
But the thing is, last time we had a problem seeing a chat.
Okay.
On the computer.
Oh, really? Do we have problems seeing the chat now?
I have no idea.
Somebody type something so we know if we can actually see the chat or not.
So last time we had to use the iPad to see the chats.
We did?
Yes, with the chat on iPad, nothing happened on the
cool.
computer.
Oh, not cool. I didn't remember that. You're finding it?
Yeah.
All right, so in case you're typing, we can't read it at all. Because our camera guy sucks.
No, not camera guy. This is Google Hangouts.
Google Hangouts sucks. But while you get that sorted, what are you working on?
I am working on a new Age of Sigmar army.
New? Are you done with the boys in golden armor?
Yeah, I got...
what is this?
This is Beast Raiders.
Ogres?
Yeah.
Cool. Ogres are actually cool.
They have some nifty features.
And cool models, which is much more important. And I am still poking at the same towel that I was poking on last week, 2 weeks ago, because I'm very slow.
Yeah, we can't see the chat there.
Again?
Again.
All right, so you keep that one up.
Yeah.
And then we're going to have to fix that.
Definitely.
But there was some way to fix that on that thing.
Yeah.
We're having some chat issues, guys. We're live, obviously, but we can't see your chat. I'll put it back to where it was, even though it was tiny. Nah. Anywho. Don't mess with it. Just leave it there. Yeah, just put it down here. There we go. We got a tiny chat. Spain is watching and painting. Cool. Spain, are you coming to the World Team Championships, you should. There's a Spanish team, and you should be on it.
And for those of you,
Tanker Jimbo. Who else do we got? R. Burns. Yep, we're live.
so looking forward to the championships.
When is it? It's 5 months away.
Yeah, it's May. Beginning of May.
I'm looking forward to the World Team Championships because I love to game competitively, and it looks like it's going to be a fairly balanced tournament. I dread going with one of our team members who absolutely has to play a sucky army, but he's doing surprisingly well with it, so I'm not going to take it away from him.
Yeah.
Even though he's lost both his games.
Well, has he tried his army now?
Yes, twice against Martin, and he lost. Only barely, though. So, talking about Svein's going to be playing, or he says that he wants to go to Poland with a Polish army. Naturally, for several reasons, both to honor the Polish, and it's 75 years next year, isn't it?
80.
80? I can't remember. And he won
2018 minus 1939. That's
yeah.
80
Okay.
years.
And he is absolutely sure that the Polish army will do well. No, he's done good in the 2 games that he's played, but he ends up losing just at the finish line. He puts all his money in the huge infantry units that the Polish can have, but in the long run, it doesn't hold against bigger and harder targets. So if anyone has any ideas how to play Polish, let us know and we'll tell Svein how to play.
And I was contemplating coming with the French army, but someone said I cannot do that.
you can, but we're going to the World Team Championships. I know you guys want to go for just shits and giggles. I want to go to actually win the thing.
I want to do both.
Well, then you can play France.
No.
We can't have 2 numbnutses. It's enough that one guy want to play Polish. Is this thing stuck again? No. Just nobody talking. We got 70 viewers. So we're going to be bolt action talk.
Yes.
Bolt action talk at least to start us off, Santiago. So if you guys want to chime in with any questions or input on anything bolt action, just go nuts. We're talking about we're talking a little bit about the same thing as last time, the World Team Championships that's going on in Poland in May.
First weekend of May.
First weekend of May next year.
So it's the 4th and the 5th of May.
Yep. I know he hasn't decided fully yet. I know Svein is he's going to stick to the Polish unless we can sway him to do otherwise. Martin, I have no idea. And I'm still stuck on either US or Finland.
And I'm probably going to play Soviet, since that's what I'm most familiar with.
If you're going to play Soviets, you need to borrow the flag that he has out there. Have you seen it?
No.
What's his face? The guy I played in the last round.
Coyote?
Yeah, we have a guy that I played last league game out in the big gaming room now. And he's playing his league game for this month. He's playing some Russians, and he has a huge Russian flag in the background representing.
Nice.
You're gonna need to borrow that.
Yeah, I need to do that.
How can I avoid flamethrowers? Kill them.
That's the easiest thing.
Yeah.
Probably.
I mean, I think he can testify, and everyone else that plays locally can testify that I love flamethrowers, and I love anything that is an HE shot. In this league, I've only played with 105mm Shermans, which is a medium howitzer Sherman, and I've played with lots of flamethrowers. And the best medicine for flamethrowers is kill it. Focus fire until you can pin it down or kill it downright.
Yeah, or use snipers.
Or snipers. That, I mean, if you hit it and you kill it, it's dead. No discussion. And the same works if you're shooting against like the US engineers, which can have a flamethrower in the units, because a sniper automatically chooses its target. So, okay, I shot, I hit, I kill, okay, the flamethrower guy's dead.
So
Best way to...
That's the best way to take them out.
Yeah. Failing that, I would just say that keep your distance. I mean, for infantry, you need to keep 13 inches away.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much it. It's a little bit worse when you're facing vehicles that has flamethrowers because they have both increased movement and increased range on flamethrower, so they will probably always find the target. Either hide or focus fire until you get them out of the game. Oh, bam, bam. Hola. That's probably Spanish.
Yeah.
Question for you guys who are watching now. Where did you get news of the live cast? Was it on Facebook or the Bolt Action page, patron page, or just on YouTube? We'd like to know, because I mean, we want to notify the world that we're talking crap on a regular basis, aside from when we film.
And this is going to be a bi-weekly thing from now on.
Yeah, every second week we're going to be doing this. I'm probably going to be here every time. He's mostly going to be here every time. We're going to include, when they have time, Martin, who's currently taking care of the shop and the customers that we have here at the TTB club, and Svein when he gets around to it. He has a baby situation at home.
Yeah, it's probably going to drop by later tonight, but that's after the broadcast.
Yep. I knew YouTube. Okay. I don't know what to do with these things. I have no idea how to play Tau, so I don't know what to gear them with. I'm thinking this, since I actually glued it together last time, so I think there was a reason for that.
So, if there's any Tau players watching,
help. I switched from Blood Angels, playing that for 25 years, to Tau, and I got no clue what I'm doing.
So, give him some advice, but hold off until January 1st.
Why?
Because I have to play before the month of December.
You have to play in the league game. I already got my list. This is pretty much it. That and 10 Fire Warriors.
Yeah, and I'm going to call him Brew Lord and 50-ish small dudes.
Yeah, he's going to bring the cheese and is telling you not to help me.
It's not just cheese, it's the cheese that made sense in firing points.
Cheese.
So I play Tyranids, obviously.
Obviously.
Yeah, since I'm going to bring the Brood Lord, etc.
Obviously.
But
let's see, we're up to 9, so we can ask again. Anyone watching going to the WTC World Team Championships in Poland in May? Let us know. I've asked on the representative page if we're allowed to smack talk, the good-hearted kind of smack talk.
During the games or
now?
Now, yeah.
We can start early. I mean, we talk a lot of crap. I would assume we're semi-proficient at it.
Yeah, hopefully. So anyway, the problem with us talking smack about it now is that we build up the expectations and we're probably going to fail hard. Wasn't there some chat on the participants group about people wanting to beat us rather than win the whole thing?
No, that was not what I said. I said people want to play TTB and probably beat us. I mean, we film a lot. We filmed a lot of Bolt Action, and
I think we're up to 200 films now on Bolt Action.
And we do play more Bolt Action on the side than what we actually film. That said, we're probably not all that good. I mean, me and Martin, we can roll dice, but that's not a tactic. That's just good luck. But somehow and somewhere and sometime that's going to, end. And that's where tactic.
It ended for Martin in the last game.
It's going to be back. Just give him the voodoo.
Yeah, well, he came with this Tank War platoon, and I beat him with a regular platoon.
If he lost it, who got it? Let's ask the man himself, because here he comes. Martin, we're being told that you lost your dice magic and voodoo last game against Lars.
Yeah.
If you lost it, who got it?
Lars.
Lars got it?
Yeah. Or actually, I've been watching Per play his league match against one of our other patrons.
But Per never wins.
He's hitting with his indirect rocket launcher stuff. He's blowing up buildings. Destruction, guys.
Yeah, so who is he playing?
He's playing Card.
No, he's playing Björn.
No, yeah, Björn. So
The guy with the most bad luck ever seen in a dice game. Ever.
He's actually talking about constructing a device that lets him throw the dice without actually touching them. just to avoid his
He doesn't
wound.
want to touch the dice. Oh. Okay, how do I assemble this thing?
Oh, Martin, you're a bandido.
Yeah, he is. I mean, if it wasn't for the fact that I've known Martin for like 20-ish years, I mean, I saw him for the first time, he would probably pass off as one of the bandidos. But he is a heavy metal rocker. Trust me. It's not an instrument that man can't play. What?
And he's a nice guy. He's not a bandit.
That doesn't make sense at all. This will just look stupid. Okay. So that way. How long are we? We're on an hour today.
Yeah.
Okay.
We had to cut it a bit short since.
You're babysitting.
Well, technically, I'm not babysitting because it's my own daughter, but.
One thought. Lay it on us. Give us a thought. I need new glue. Are you giving any thought to your selection later on?
Yeah, well, my problem is that my background is more board games rather than miniature games. So my top 5 would probably be the 5 games I'm currently playing.
Okay. So how
Which
about
is not necessarily a bad thing, though.
How about we? No, true. But how about we include just games? How about we just say that we're gonna list our top 5 games. Doesn't matter what it is, as long as it's a physical game, not computer, because that doesn't count. And then just give a few pros and cons.
Yeah.
Does that work?
That works perfectly.
Are you following this? You're gonna have to clear that up for me, Santiago. I'm not following you.
So.
Oh, Martin is a bandito. A good one. Now I'm following.
Yeah, it's a good bandito.
He is.
Because when you said bandito, I was thinking about the motorcycle gang.
Yeah. I don't know if don't know if they're outside of Norway, but in Norway,
Bandidos it's a US.
It's a international thing. Okay. There we go. So how are we doing worse than last time? Oh, right, because the room out there is watching us.
Yeah.
Because last time we topped it like
18.
At 18, and that's probably because 10 people were watching us out in the lobby. Are you into any other games like Chain and Command? A lot of games. We're into a lot of games. I haven't played Chain of Command. I know Svein and Anders did a Chain of Command video that we have up on YouTube, and they played it a little bit. But I haven't tried it. I have no idea what it. I know it is, but I don't know the gameplay. But other than bolt action, yes, I play. At least currently, I have models or the possibility to play at least 8 to 10 other games. And I think you're probably at the same amount, but it's a preference issue what you actually want to play.
Yeah, these days it's mainly 4 games.
Bolt action,
obviously.
40K.
No, not necessarily. Bloodred Skies, but we're not that many guys who play it here. Now we're up to 4 guys playing it.
You and Martin and Svein.
And Håkan, who did up now.
Oh yeah, true.
So I love that game. It's a quick, easy game.
Yep.
And Wild West Exodus, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
Which is a nice skirmish-based game, which is rather fast to play. You don't have to dedicate 2-3 hours to it. 45 minutes is enough. And
once you learn the rules.
When you don't know the rules, obviously
it's gonna take an hour or two.
Flipping through the manuals is quite
time-consuming.
And the last game I play these days is Age of Sigmar, where I'm moving. Oh, I got hooked on it last summer when Swide persuaded me to take off on half of the starter box. So I started with Stormcast Eternals, which is well.
I played Saga. I liked it, but I was already at that point. I was already hooked on Frostgrave for a small skirmish-based game, and I've always loved playing Mordheim. So Saga really didn't continue, mainly because I had invested a lot of time in Mordheim and buildings for Mordheim, and no one else here was really interested. So I kind of stuck there until we picked up Wild West Exodus about 6 months ago, and after that, it's just pretty much been Wild West Exodus for skirmish and warband type games like Saga. Having said that, Saga was cool, and obviously, as a Viking, I should be playing it because it's about Vikings. Ish. That's not a Viking. That's a boar thing.
Yeah, well, the army is somewhat Viking inspired.
It's fat ogres. How are that Viking inspired?
If you read all the
Are you
lore,
calling me fat?
No. That would be throwing a rock in a glass house, so to speak. But that being said, if you look at the lore and all the battalion names, it's I would say Norse inspired.
You have in the old Warhammer Fantasy setting, you have or the realm, the nation of the Empire.
Yeah.
You're familiar with it?
Yes.
It's part of what's called free men, probably.
I know.
They had a sub-faction called I don't know the English word for it, the Tudigan Guard, and Kislev, which is more Russian-ish, but then you had some proper models and area that was fitted for more Viking stuff and wintry stuff, because I felt like a lot of the models there wouldn't suit the Norse better. Either that or the Chaos Raiders, Norse Raiders.
Yeah, but those factions are pretty dead in the game these days.
They're pretty dead in the game because, nobody plays them because there are either no rules or no models. Well, I don't know about Age of Sigmar.
There are models, there are rules, but what they have done is they have simplified the rules for these a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of the diversification you had in the models have now been
it's gone.
Previously, you might have had 30, 40 models. Now they have all brought out to 5 models essentially.
But can't they ally in Age of Sigmar?
No, you can play the whole army on it. Alexander did that.
Yeah, but you can ally with other armies.
Yeah.
If you want to have more model count or different types of models.
Yeah, definitely. So as long as you stay within the order, you can do it. So you can play them together with Stormcast.
Can you play Chaos with Stormcast?
No, the Free Guild or the Empire.
Okay. I really need more glue or new glue.
I was about to say I know a guy, but
you know a guy, but it's working. It's just very thick.
Yeah, and the guy I know is not here these days. The shop is changing the register system, so a lot of the stuff is not in the store at the moment.
Yeah, we're changing stuff up at TTB, hopefully to improve. I gotta stop looking at that screen. I gotta look at the camera.
Yeah,
that's why we need to put the camera further down.
Yeah, definitely.
So far, I've done more with this model in like 20 minutes than I've done with the model in the last 2 weeks. I actually glued 3 bits together.
Yeah, but the stealth suits are now visible.
That's true. I hate this thing. Last show, I'm calling it show now. Last show we had, my stealth suits were just empty bases. Now they are actually stealth suits. 40k. And I have a bomber.
Should have battles where subs command forces.
Yeah, that will happen.
Yeah.
We need to fix the video quality. For some reason, it turned out. Well, I don't know how it looks for you guys, but for us, it looks sort of grainy. We will set up battles where we have live battles and can play with one of you guys or several that people control different stuff. But we need to fix the setup. We need a camera up there, we need a handheld, and we need to plan it ahead of time.
Yes.
So absolutely.
But that's definitely something I want to do. But before we get to that point, we probably should finish the timeline.
Yeah. The bolt action timeline. I think we said that last time too, because no new games have been released yet.
Yes, 2 days ago
Was that timeline game?
was the game that you, Martin and me, kind of messed up.
Yeah, so not a timeline game.
Wasn't it the time again? The French US versus
Was it? I don't remember.
February. The Colmar Pocket February 45.
Yeah, that was a timeline game. What do you know? I have no idea. I just made the scenario. So we're looking at 5 or 6 more games. Then we're at Battle for Berlin, and that'll probably be the last one for the bolt action timeline. After that, I know Svein and Anders wants to redo a couple of battles and pick up a few battles that we didn't film.
Yes, there's a lot of stuff coming from the Battle of the Invasion of France.
Yep, and I know people want more Africa stuff, so we're going to do that. Then we're going to leave. We're going to be leaving bolt action filming to the guys who want to do it the most. And then we're going to probably pick up filming more other stuff as well in between, and doing this every other week. Hopefully with more viewers, because come on, call your friends, family, loved ones, grandfather, wake up your daughters. Battletech.
Games Workshop or Warlord Games?
Hey, that's not a competition. It's I'm going to be flying for this, but it's Games Workshop. I know bolt action is what we're known for, and we were known by the bigger channels as the bolt action guys. But Games Workshop is still responsible for 3 out of 5 games that is on the top 3 of my top list of games I've ever played. So there's no contests. Sorry.
And I'm a bit more torn because, first of all, I'm more fond of bolt action than you are.
True.
And I really like what they started with when it comes to Blood Red Skies, but it looks like it's been for some time kind of left drifting by itself. It hasn't gotten the support that it should have gotten after the initial launch.
The problem with games in general is that if it doesn't get enough support or purchases, as it's called, when it's launched, it sort of drifts. And when we were at Warlord Games, I think it was 2 years ago, we got to talk to one of the big honchos. Can't remember his name. I should remember his name. That knows the gaming industry, and he actually said that Warlord Games' production line and ability to push games is much more difficult than Games Workshop, because they have a lot more games on their plate. I mean, just sitting from this angle, I'm looking at our Warlord Games wall of games, and it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and that's the ones that I see. I know there's plenty more. 8 games right off the bat. While if I look at our Games Workshop wall, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games, and most of them are just like small board games with miniatures for the main game, like 40K or Age of Sigmar.
Yeah.
And Games Workshop's been at this for over 30 years. Warlord's been doing it for 8-ish. So Warlord Games needs to have the followers with the games when they launch them. Otherwise, it will be difficult for them to defend keeping the game pushed. Yeah, verified news. We know, or we do know that we keep doing stuff wrong. It's not intentional. It's stuff that gets lost in the heat of the moment, and we do know that we measure from the vehicle to the target and not from the barrel of the gun. That's more a habit that some of us, especially me, have from other games. The previous editions of some game I played always said measure from the weapon itself, and that sort of just stuck. So I know it's mainly me that do it. I think. I think the rest of the gang are proficient in actually measuring from the vehicle. And back to BattleTech. I never tried it. I never seen it. I know what it is because I watched a cartoon when I was a kid, and I loved it. I loved when the 3D visor came down on the guys, and they and they battled it out. But I got into BattleTech miniature game. Never even seen the miniatures, unfortunately.
I haven't even heard about it.
Yeah, we'll take it verified. I mean, the only way we learn is either by actually doing mistakes and being told that we actually did a mistake. I remember back when we started in science basements, our intro was pretty much, "Hey, we're brand new at this. If we screw up, let us know." That's the only way we can learn. That's still the case, but we don't want to admit that we screw up. But we know we do, and the only way we can learn from that is people telling us that we do. I mean, with so many, hey, our chat disappeared. With the with so many different games that we play on a regular basis, it's difficult to keep track of all the rules. So we just need to be reminded.
Yeah.
You're running out of power.
Yeah. Well, also remember that even though that Svein and Damon and Anders has been at this filming for
2.5, soon 3 years.
Yeah, I'm not sure when Martin came in.
Martin came in a little over a year ago.
Yeah, and I came in my first game filming this
6 months ago, ish.
So some of us are quite new at it still.
Yeah. That and I mean 1 year ago or midway through this, they changed from V1 to V2. Wasn't a whole lot of changes, but it's like the little things that you should remember, but you don't because you're stuck at the previous edition or the other games that you play, and they keep mixing themselves together.
Yeah, and if you look at some of the changes that were pointed out to us some time ago, the hidden rule used to be -1, now it's -2, so there was mistakes done at that kind of thing as well, because version 1 is still there.
Yeah, it's the small things. Hidden rule, it's when you go down, it used to be -1, now it's -2. And also a rule that we know, but we don't enforce it because we consider it to be way too powerful. And people ask us this very often, is why we don't shoot HE at the buildings instead of trying to hit the units inside. Because shooting the HE at the building is just an insane amount of damage against stuff that's inside, and I feel that it's a little bit too powerful. So we're at a situation where we either don't use it or enforce it, or we don't do it as often because it's a really powerful rule. Especially, I mean, if you play lists like I usually come with a lot of HE, and you're in a fight in a city and people hide in the buildings, I mean, they wouldn't stand a chance against my Shermans. Generally. Everybody's rising. I argued back in first edition that one of the by far best vehicles in the game was a Puma, and I still agree. Because it's low cost, it's got a good armor, it's got good movement, it's got recce or recon, as I say. So I would argue it's one of the best vehicles in the game still. But yes, ambush is medicine for recon vehicles. Absolutely. And I mean, if you have something that can force the Puma to use its recon, it's taken out of the game because it's effectively useless for that turn. Martin's back.
Hey guys.
Hey guys, you're behind the camera.
Yeah.
We're talking about Pumas.
Ooh.
Yes.
Pumas are really, really good.
Yes, that's what I say. It's verified news. He says he has 3 Pumas in his army.
Who?
Verified news.
Oh yeah.
He says that he has 3 Pumas in my tank versus German force. Everybody's whining, saying they're overpowered. And I'm not disagreeing with them, but there's easy counters for everything.
Yeah.
And like he also says, ambush. Because you've already activated and you can't do anything. Or wait until the Puma's done its thing.
Yeah.
But
Double
again,
tap it.
Double tap. But as the owner of the Puma, you want to activate last.
Yeah.
Or as the
You
owner,
want to save the Puma for last.
yeah, as the owner of any recon vehicle, you want to save it for last.
Yeah. The funny thing though is with the recce move, you can actually also tank assault. And since the Puma is an armor 8 fully enclosed vehicle,
Yep,
you can run stuff over during your recce move.
well,
Why are you watching
Oh,
this? phone?
it's the 66.
it's Mr. 66.
No, because for some reason the chat isn't working on the computer. So we have the chat there.
Okay. How many people are watching?
Currently,
10.
we're down to 10. We were up to 12, so the reason why we had so many last time is because you had all minions watching us. Don't do that. We want real numbers. We've asked them to bring out the wives and girlfriends and whatever to watch us so we can up the numbers. But yes, apparently you're one of the banditos.
Am I one of the
You
banditos?
look like one of the banditos. I mean, if they don't know you, you look like a biker gangster.
Oh,
Yeah, but
I'm not a biker guy.
but the good kind. We told them you're a heavy rocker, so it's all good.
But there's one thing else that works quite nicely against a Puma.
Oh.
You start with the preparatory bombardment.
Yeah.
You pin it, and then you keep throwing foo bars for the rest of the game.
Yeah.
You remember that one?
Yeah. Works like a charm.
I wouldn't know because I don't roll full bars. Well, actually,
No,
I do, but not that often.
we had this game which was released a couple of days ago for 2 patrons where we essentially rolled
2 bars for the whole game.
9 or 10 foo bars during the game for the morale test. So the Puma was essentially just backing up the whole time.
Was that the same for both sides?
Yeah, well, I didn't have an armor car. I had guys going down all over the place. So it was a rather fast game,
I believe that. That was the game with you and Martin.
which we essentially messed up anyway.
Yeah, I made the mission for them, and I spelled it out in very simple words, but they managed to not do it right anyway.
Yeah.
So we're gonna try to redo that at some point.
Yeah, but probably not with me and Martin because now I know the scenarios, etc.
I'll just change the scenario.
Heavies are wasted points. No, I do not agree with you because, well, I am quite fond of running my IS-2s in my Soviet setup.
It's not looking. Martin is a bolt action bandito. True story. He disagrees with you. I absolutely agree with you. Having played for such a long time with miniature games and from being used to be a very competitive gamer where I looked at what do I get the most of for each point that I pay, I would argue that any tank or vehicle in bolt action that goes over or a lot over 250 points is not worth taking in a 1200 to 1500 point list. I would rather than have 2 of the same tank, so to speak. I'd rather have 2 Panzer IVs than 1 Tiger. Pretty much sums up to almost the same amount-ish. Same for the Americans, which most people know that I prefer to play. I'd rather have 2 Chaffies than 1 Pershing, because they would rip the Pershing apart.
Yeah, but still, I
Cheapest gun platforms. What nation? Because I know the US, I know a little British. That's pretty much my expertise. Other than that, you're gonna have to ask the other guys. Why isn't this working? My glue is not working. Doesn't like me anymore.
Yeah, use the cheapest gun platform. Yeah, probably, but I mean, I played this game against Martin in the league the other day, and I came with 3 IS2s. It was a 1500 point game.
Yep.
And I had immense fun taking out his Panzer IVs all around me with the IS2s. So
Well, there is such a
it
thing.
was fun.
Yeah, there is such a thing as luck. The reason any advice on using an M18 Hellcat? My second favorite tank. Again, back to my arguments for V1. But that was when the recon rule was different. I had my absolute favorite tank was the Hellcat because of the gun, the point cost, and the stuff that it could. I mean, it could wreak havoc on enemy tanks, and the recon would work regardless of whether you used the dice or not. I still love it, but I think the value of the tank has decreased with the change to the recon rule. I would probably not use it. I would rather go with something that applies more pins because pins will work against any target that is pinnable. I mean, you can take Martin's Panzer IV versus your IS-2. He'll do 1 pin if it hits and doesn't penetrate. Or we can take my Sherman howitzer and it'll do up to 3 pins if it hits you and doesn't kill you. And that's a huge difference.
Yeah, but the problem with your Sherman against my IS-2 is that you cannot penetrate it.
Yes, I can. I shoot you on the top armor.
Yeah.
And I always roll 6s for indirect, you know?
Yeah.
The point is, for one of your IS-2s, I get 2 of my Shermans.
Yeah, that's true.
So I will flank you. But KV-2, yes, I love the KV-2 for Russia. But for the US, I would say that the absolute best gun platform they have, and I would argue the best tank in the game, points-wise, is a veteran Chaffee. Gyro stabilized, it's got recon if you want it. Yes, it's a low armor tank, but 8 versus 9 is going to be so little difference when you get shot at by big cats. Anyway, so I would rather have a tank that costs less than 200 points, has a gun that can shoot HE2, can recon, and has a lot of machine guns to chop up infantry.
Yeah, and as for the KV-2, I haven't tried it, to be honest. The only reason is that I don't have the model.
It's in the show.
I'm looking.
We're looking straight at it.
KV-1,
I know what place.
Yeah, me too. So I probably need to pick that one up.
Today?
Not today. I have way too much other stuff to do before I do the KV-2.
Yep.
But yeah, I probably will pick it up before the next time I play the Russians.
Good. You need to give it a try. I mean, the KV-2, it's a heavy tank that can mount a howitzer, and I mean, it can stand its own against pretty much anything. And it's equally good against tanks and infantry because I think, if I don't remember wrong, it's a heavy howitzer. I think it was a heavy howitzer. I know there's a Russian tank that can have a heavy howitzer. I think it was that one. And it really works well against everything. D6 pins don't need to pin. Yep, true story. But let's see, we're at 15 minutes left. Should we?
Yeah.
You want to start?
The top 5 games?
Top 5 games you have ever played. Doesn't matter if it's a board game or miniature game.
Well, my top game is a board game. It's not a miniatures game.
Start at number 5.
Okay, let's start at number 5 then. I have to think a bit more about it, so you can start.
Okay, so my top 5 games ever played. Number 5 would be how is that said? Astronomica Imperialis. It's an old Forge Work game where they had Valkyries and Vendettas in like 15mm scale. I thought it was a fantastic game. Unfortunately, it got axed because either price or not enough people played it, which is a real shame. I have a small army. I call it army for it. Plus side of the rules is they were simple to use, but they were deep enough to get really involved. You had height factor, you had range factor, you had maneuvering, of course, point value. Downside would be that it's specialist games, so it would only interest a few people, and if you weren't really into either aerial combats or small-scale games, it really wasn't for you. Salute, Simon.
Okay, the 5th place for me would actually be Blood Skies.
Blood Skies.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I really like it. I like the dynamisms. I like how it actually plays out in 3D.
Yep.
I like how even though you might have the best thought out plan, it might change
Instantly. Yep.
like that. So I like how you need to reevaluate your tactics constantly in that game.
Yep. I like it. And just to answer Simon, we're probably not going to be attending the Warlord Games D-Day tournament. It's for me, it's a matter of where I can go and funding. Salute might be a different story. If we can get enough funds to go to Salute and put up a booth and do demos or just be us or go around just being idiots, that would be really cool. So yeah, Salute. Really? Shame on you.
Shame on me.
Salute is one of the biggest UK gaming conventions, and I've been there twice.
When is it?
Well, apparently it's
next year.
It's apparently it's next year. I don't know what date it is. Do they review all the meetings? The ones that I've been to, they don't. They allow pretty much anything, but they prefer, of course, that you bring Warlord Games products. Moving on to number 4. Before we continue with the list, I should add, I've played miniature games for 25 or 26 years. I know it's not the longest of any person living in the world, but it's a fairly long time, so I've seen many games come and go. So my list is based on what games I've played and loved and still love, not games that I only currently play. Because like the previous game, Astronomica Imperialis, Aeronautica Imperialis. That's the name of the game I've played for so long.
And that's your 5th place. I don't even remember the name of it.
Go away. It's a game that I don't get to play anymore because nobody else has an army and don't even have the rules. My 4th place is a game that I just started playing, and it's bumped. I mean, it's a contender for top 3 actually, and it's Wild West Exodus. I cannot begin to tell you how impressed I am with the job that Wayland Games or Warcradle have done with the game after taking it over, changing the rules, updating the models, making it a lot more streamlined and simple to learn if you know a little war games to begin with. Naturally, learning a whole new system is slightly difficult, but when you get into the groove of what the different stats is, it all makes sense. Now the rules are still under review as Warcradle keeps pushing out or re-releasing models. The bonuses for the game is very fast-paced. When you know the rules, you can be done in like 15 to 20 minutes and still have a lot of fun. Regular sized game would be for tournaments, I guess, 1,250 to 1,500 points, and that would probably maximum put you at like 25 models, and you can even show up with less than that. Models are beautiful, even though they're monopose. Hi, Chris. Hola, nerd.
April.
It's April for Salute. The models are monopose for Wild West Exodus, but that is not a problem because the models look so good and the quality is just fantastic. Pleasure to paint because they're slightly bigger than the regular 28 mil. These are 32 millimeter models. And I love the fact how they have rules for like scaling buildings, jumping down, jumping from building to building, etc. The downside with the game, I would say, would have to be that the rules are still being looked at and slightly changed now and then because they're still, how should I put it, learning how to uh, word the rules. Like one of the huge problems with Games Workshop is the wording, and Work Cradle is taking that to heart because they're trying to get it right. So there's no huge debates on should it be this or should it be this. That's pretty much the only gripe I have with it. I would love an XP thing though, where you play campaign and there's like experience points where you can have normal infantry dudes, not characters, but infantry dudes that can like become better and learn your skills and stuff.
Move to hands and faces. And
yeah, that would be cool though.
Yeah, I see that. And actually, the fourth place for me is is actually a Wild West Exodus as well.
What? Only 4?
Yeah.
What's wrong with you?
Yeah,
You hardly play any games.
Yeah, well, I have played a lot of games as well during the last.
Okay. Same reasons, or do you got anything else?
Same reasons, but another thing I like is that it's quite easy to start with because, well, as you mentioned, to play a tournament game, you don't need that many models. If you go for instance, for the Outlaws that I play, you take that Wayward 8.
Yep, and that's like 1,000 points.
No, that's 1,300 points
for one box.
One box, which sets you back $50-ish, $60-ish,
something like that.
And that's all you need to start, so it doesn't break the bank.
I need to let squads separate in fire teams. Yeah. And yes, Chris, I will get to it. Don't worry. By the way, we're gonna play something else later on. Not today. Later on. Number 3, because now we get to the best games there is. And for me, they're all Games Workshop, and they're either not in print because they're specialist games, or they've just made a comeback. So my number 3 best game that I ever played and still love and still get to play occasionally is Mordheim. I really don't think there is another game that's so deep with rules that you can really get immersed in it, also in a role-playing fashion. There's experience points for everyone. There's so many different types of armor and weapons and magical items and stuff that you can pick up and use. It's climbing up, climbing down, jumping, you name it. There's probably a rule for it, but it's so well made that it's not difficult. I mean, anyone could pick up the rulebook on eBay now because it's not in print, and probably play the game and know it just by having played through 2 or 3 games. And if you use the official factions or the official races, there's like 6 or 7. But if you include all the factions that were under development or prototype when they dropped the game, you're looking at like 30 plus. So there's not a lack of stuff to play. And obviously the downside will be it's not in print. There's no production for it anymore, so you're going to have to find second-hand models, which are really expensive on eBay, or you can make your own by buying any fantasy model really and just convert it, which works very, very well.
For me, actually, the third place is a Games Workshop game as well. It's a game you don't like.
Age of Sigmar.
It's Age of Sigmar, yes. And the reason for it is, first of all, the rules are simple, but not too simple. And I like the way that choosing who takes a turn has an effect. So if you're unlucky on initiative roll, you're not penalized too much. And I also like the big driver for me is actually the community that's arisen around it in Norway, with Fjordhammer running his GTs. There's actually call them semi-pro tours in Norway now, with tournaments that are so the community is quite vibrant, and that helps a lot for any game.
Micro armor also. I've heard about micro armor. I have a buddy in the States that's heavily into micro armor. Never checked it out really because I have a lot of other games that I play, and I really need to separate what I want to do from what I need to do. I need to do several different games, but I want to do a little less than that because time. Let's see. What are we? Number 2?
Number 2, yes.
Number 2 would be Blood Bowl. One of the most fun games that, or not, it's not one of the most fun. It is the most fun game that I've ever played. Faction dependent, of course. Fast pace, the simplest game I have ever played, and the simplest game to learn. I mean, right out of the box, if you don't use any skills or stuff like that, it's just pretty much just moving around and trying to avoid tackle zones, which is fairly simple. The two-player starter sets, that's a bore.
Yeah, Chris asked us to show us what we're making. So I'm actually building a new army with B-score raiders. So this is the one fan pack, which I'm starting to assemble.
I'm still working on my Tau stealth suit. Well, I haven't done anything since last time, so I've assembled 1, 2, 3, 3.5 parts, which is more than I've done the previous 2 weeks. So there you go. But anyway, Blood Bowl. Starter box gives you 2 teams, human and orc, which is pretty much your average teams. But then you have, like, on the passing end, you have elves with high agility and passing skills. On the other side, brute force, you have chaos, you have ogres, lizardmen, and then you have like 20, 30 different teams that does different stuff. Cannot say that the thank you, Chris, I know. Now you put me off. I don't remember what I was going to say. The coolest games is when you play what's considered the worst 2 teams in Blood Bowl, which is goblins and halflings. When you play those, there's death, chaos, mayhem, and destruction all over the place. I can't recommend it enough, and there really isn't any downsides to that game because it's in print, it's popular, it's well written, and I mean, no, there's nothing wrong with it.
And there's a vibrant community as well.
Absolutely.
So it's a good game, but for me, it's probably the 6th place.
Oh.
The 2nd place for me is, well, it's the game that actually got me in contact with TTB 13 months ago.
Bolt action. Yeah, we found him lying outside the store crying because we were closed and he wanted to buy models. I don't know.
No, actually, I came here to buy Pokemon cards of all things.
Yeah, we do sell Pokemon cards too.
Yeah, that being said, those cards were not for me, it was for my son. So I came here to buy a couple of booster packs for Pokemon, and I ended up buying 3 starter armies for bolt action.
The kind of customers you like to have.
And so for me, it's bolt action because I like the tactics, I like the historical accuracy.
You got me really confused about what's number 1 because I have no idea.
So you thought I was going to say bolt action?
I thought you were going to have bolt action on top there.
No.
You want to do us the honor of giving us your number 1 first?
Yes, and it's actually not a miniature game.
Do you have? Yeah, you said before we go there. You had a downside to bolt action.
Downside is, yeah, the downside would probably be if you play it in a tournament setting. If you don't play any of the larger armies.
Yeah, like major nations.
Major nations, like Soviets, Germans, US, English,
And Japan.
and Japan to some extent. You have no chance of winning in most cases.
I will agree with you for the most part. There is one minor or smaller nation that I would say could beat any army in the game. That's Finland, if you know how to play them, because they're really tactically difficult. but that is a fantastic army, and it will really beat anyone.
And I agree with you. And the other problem with the downside is that once you get hooked on it, you cannot get enough models. You always want another infantry. You always want another gun. You always want another tank.
That's pretty much any miniature gamer for you. You go into the like they're writing in the chat. You go into the store, and I'm going in for glue. You come out with $200 worth of new stuff, and you have no idea what happened.
Yeah.
At all. So what's your number one?
It's actually a traditional board game. It's the Settlers of Catan.
Settlers of Catan is good.
I don't know how many hours, nights, evenings I've played that game with friends at home, and well, we simply loved it. We played it, I think, every Saturday and Friday for close to 2 years, many years ago.
I know we're gonna have a date night real soon with Settlers of Catan because I love that game too,
but
and we have it out there.
But I'm not sure I want to play with you because the reason for that is that we always was the same. We were always the same group of people playing, and we ended up house ruling so many things that I'm not quite sure what is the real rules and what are the house rules.
They're in the box.
Yeah, I know, but we ended up. We thought some of the rules were unbalanced, so we ended up house ruling some stuff. I simply love that game.
Just to respond to verified user, I don't think you need to send us your armies. You can't see it here, but in our back room, we have about 20 to 30,000 points of bolt action. So I think we got it covered.
Only?
Yeah, that's only Sven's stuff. Then we have your stuff. We have Andrew's stuff. We have my 1,000 points. And
my bag over there has 7,000 points.
Okay, then it might be more. It might be 40,000 points. There's just you see these shelves behind us. There's let's see. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 6. There's 24 shelves that's filled to the brim with bolt action stuff, and it's only signs.
And I have 2 or 3 bags with that, and that's just my Soviet. I still have my
unpainted armies.
Yeah, well, some of them are painted. So we have the Japanese, which is actually my son's, which is around 3,000 points.
Yep.
I have a British army, which is around 3,000 points. I have a German army, which is about 6,000 points. Starting with the French, which is sitting at around 1,500 points now. So it's insane. But that being said, we're also over time.
Yeah, we're over time, and we're at 2% power. So we're going to finish up with the favorite game for me, which is let's see, Damon. I went back and watched some of the films. Yep, good times, memories, way long ago. My favorite game, and there isn't really any game that comes close. It is Battlefleet Gothic. Games Workshop was discontinued 15, 16, 17 years ago. Space game, one of the few games that's actually in centimeters instead of inches, oddly enough, from Games Workshop. Rumors are now that it's returning. I mean, Games Workshop did say that they were going to return most or all of their specialist games. Again, a simple game that is complex enough to make it interesting for people who want complex stuff. I don't know really why it beats the other games. It's just the models are so awesomely fantastic. It's like very tiny spaceships. I mean, I think this, I don't have anything that's even, this would probably be the biggest size you find in the game, which is a Chaos Planet Killer. It's pretty much the same size as this.
Your battle station.
Yeah,
somewhat bigger.
Yeah, the battle station is bigger, but it's not something you see every day. But I mean, from the building the army and adding on different cannons, and for Tyranids it's just insane because of the upgrades and stuff you can put on there. To the actual gameplay, shooting torpedoes, trying to dodge them or blocking them with your less important stuff. Using maneuvers in the game, dodging asteroids. It's just an immense amount of fun. Unfortunately, I don't get to play it because I'm still unable to trick people into getting into it because it's really expensive because you can't find it anywhere else on eBay. And of course, 3D print places. I know a guy. But I can't recommend it enough. And again, the only drawback I would put to the game is that it's not in print.
Actually, coming back to Catan, we ended up playing it so much we actually had to buy a new copy because we wore it out.
Ever play Starfleet Fleet Battles? Nope, never tried it. Only other space game I've ever tried is X-Wing. But I think that's pretty much it for us, mainly because we're running out of power and he needs to go home with his daughter. So we're going to be back here in 2 weeks. If you want something special discussed, let us know in the chat below, or put a post down there, or come to the Tabletop Battle page on Facebook. We have several groups. Or become a patron, then you can directly tell us what to do, because they get to do that. I'll take a look at it, verified. It's always interesting. I always like looking at new games, even though I don't always have time to play them. But again, thanks for watching. This is Lars. I am Damon, and the other guy was Martin. And we hope that you can spread the word so that we can have several thousand viewers to make us sweat and be scared of doing what we're doing.
Yeah, and we'll work on the lighting and the camera quality because this is
Sorry about it.
It seems like it's blurry. Though on the phones looks okay.
The phone looks perfect, but on the PC it looks shite. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, and we will be back in 2 weeks. Peace.